Joining us now, the co-host of the Royally Obsessed podcast, Rachel Bowie. Rachel, thank you so much for being here. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing good.
Awesome to see you. Now, it's been 2 weeks since Finding Freedom. Harry and Meghan and the making of a modern royal family hit bookshelves, and I'm sure I'm not the only royal watcher who's still totally obsessed with it. Rachel, what did you think overall of Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand's tell-all book?
So I absolutely loved it. I feel like all nearly 400 pages of it. It's such a page turner. Congrats to Omid and Carolyn. I feel like what I thought was so interesting is that it's both romantic and gut wrenching at the same time. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in their relationship and the fairy tale aspects of it at the beginning, only to feel so saddened by how everything really played out. You know, the media infiltration into their lives and the fact that they were really powerless to do anything about it.
Well, I'm sure we could probably talk for hours about all the revelations that were shared in the book, but I'd love to know which parts have you personally been royally obsessing over?
So I really enjoyed all the detail in particular about William and Harry's relationship. I think that as a world, we're so protective of that. I love the section about when William first met Meghan and how Meghan totally expected to be grilled by William, but instead William was really delighted to meet her and shared how he couldn't wait to talk with the girl that put a grin on his brother's face. You know, it kind of painted such a warm picture of their first encounter. The book also talked a lot about how William's comment to Harry saying, you know, take as much time as you need to get to know this girl really hurt Harry, but it also over explains how the fact that they're brothers and that they'll always be brothers.
Yeah, I thought Finding Freedom did a great job of showing how they're really just two different people on different paths right now, which is not abnormal amongst siblings as they grow up, royal or not.
Yeah, exactly. I think the book Finding Freedom really makes it possible to see both William and Harry's sides. It's actually really balanced in that sense. And it also, I thought that this detail, the fact that, you know, William actually is known, according to Finding Freedom, to be more calm and level-headed, whereas Harry can run a little hot and be more sensitive. I mean, I think that that's, you know, sibling dynamics to a T in a lot of ways. Based on how inseparable William and Harry were pre-Meghan, I'm sure that really looking into that comment, William's unconditional approval is truly all that Harry really wanted. But at the same time, William was just really acting the overprotective big brother. And Harry and Meghan's relationship, we know, especially from the book, that it did move quite fast.
Especially as William and Kate, it took them 8 or 9 years to get married.
Yeah, that one was a very slow moving. So very, you know, direct contrast to what William's experience was with dating.
Exactly. Now, the book shares details on a number of royal relationships. What's another one that had you totally fascinated?
So I think, you know, just Meghan's relationship with her father, Thomas Markle, that was a really heartbreaking section for me to read. And there's a lot of detail in the book about that. I think mainly because, you know, Thomas really was such a meaningful part of Meghan's life throughout, you know, all growing up. I mean, he really advocated for her. He also, you know, he was the one that encouraged her to use her voice for change. Remember the dishwashing soap commercial? You know, he was the one that told her to write the letter. Also, you know, I loved this detail that he actually bought a variety of Barbie dolls to kind of put together a set that mirrored her biracial family so that she didn't feel different. And with Doria, he fought to make sure she had every opportunity for her education. So he really did so much on her behalf, and that stood out so much reading that.
It makes it even more heartbreaking to read about their relationship deteriorating at one of the most important times in Meghan's life. You wouldn't have expected this knowing how close they were previously.
I know, exactly. And I think it just goes to show how unrelenting the media was and, you know, within his life. I think the book explains that a member of the paparazzi moved next door to him. So for over 2 years of their courtship, he really kind of was just completely worn down to the point that he finally broke and gave countless interviews and did that staged photo shoot ahead of her wedding. But what really upset me in the book was just seeing how much, you know, Meghan really found out in those final days leading up to the wedding, so many details via the media, like the fact that about her father's health and also that he wouldn't attend the royal wedding. I think that all was so gut wrenching. But the part that really broke my heart in the book was when, you know, it's the night before her big royal wedding, and she is saying to a friend via FaceTime, I can't just stay up all night clicking send. You know, she wasn't hearing back from her dad, and it was the only thing she wanted, and so she had to let it go. And that just felt so awful. It's the night before your wedding.
I know, I can't imagine having to go through that on such a big night and all
Such
the stress surrounding the wedding. And not just any wedding, the wedding.
The wedding, yeah. Exactly.
All right, Rachel, we've got time to discuss one more complex relationship.
So this is kind of a more like, a broader relationship, but Meghan's relationship to the monarchy, yes, Finding Freedom is incredibly pro Meghan, but it really paints a picture of just how much she tried to make everything work. We hear details about the 2-day kidnapping training she went through, which is typical for royals, but she went all in and did it, which sounded terrifying. She carried binders around studying up about royal protocol. She was commonly seen carrying them. And the Queen even acknowledged her exemplary efforts when it came to studying up. And I know the book also mentioned that she was really dedicated and quick study and that kind of thing. But, the ITV interview where she says she never thought it would be easy, but she thought it would be fair. The media just never gave her a break. And, also Finding Freedom, I loved the revelation from Omid and Carolyn that, she shared once she finally was making her exit, that she gave up her entire life for the family and she was willing to do what it takes. But here we are, and it's very sad. I think all of that just, that was right before they were March. They weren't senior royals anymore. So all of that was really sad to read.
Yeah, and as you said, we see in Finding Freedom, the media really had a tremendous impact on that dynamic between Meghan and the monarchy.
Absolutely. I really think the book paints such a great picture of all that. And the media was unrelenting, but Meghan and Harry had to follow the never complain, never explain mantra that is common to the family. So that takes a toll, as Meghan described.
Yeah, and for someone who is so outspoken, if she sees something wrong, she'll speak out about it. It was particularly tough for Meghan.
Yeah, to lose her voice, it's hard. I totally relate to that, or understand what she must have been going through.
Totally. All right, Rachel, before we go, tell us what you've got coming up on Royally Obsessed.
So this week on the podcast, we have a really wonderful interview with the CEO of the Diana Award, Tessie Ojo. She's talking about Prince Harry's speech from earlier this summer at the annual awards. And we're also digging into the latest royal news, like the Princess Diana casting announcement for The Crown. I'm very excited about that.
Me too. I will be listening for sure. Rachel, thank you so much for being here. Hope to have you back on the show very soon.
Thank you.